Alright, hello everybody, welcome back to another Roblox U tutorial. So I do apologize for the lack of videos the past, I believe, 3 weeks now, which is quite a while. A lot of school stuff has been happening. I know that's not really an excuse. So this week I am planning to step it up with more Roblox U videos. And planning to also release maybe some gaming videos. Not really for sure. Anyways, so hello and welcome back to the Roblox U tutorial series. Today we're continuing on our tower defense game. So I have come up with how I'm going to be doing this. So we're going to first go ahead and start off with improving the hierarchy here. So I'm just going to go ahead and create our little hierarchy setup. So we're going to have folders instead. So this is going to be called course, not courses. We're not creating multiple courses at the moment. And then we're going to just go ahead and put in scenery. Copy that. We're going to create paths. And then we're going to create other for anything other than what we have. So that's going to be the scenery right there. Perfect. That is going to be our paths. And we're moving the end path and star path to other. And there we go. Perfect. So that does look mighty nice for what we have here now. So we're going to go ahead and create our next part, which are the nodes, or also known as these paths. Now we already have these, and also this is a reason why I kind of do like, let's actually just go ahead and lock everything in the scenery area. So this is why I kind of do like having them in folders, because everything is still selectable and you could still select everything at the same time. So it's quite why I kind of like them better than models. But yeah, all you have to do is really do that to move part of the model. Anyways, out of that. So these are our nodes, or also the path that our enemy will follow. Now, these paths have something wrong with them, and it's not with their look or how they function or the gravity that affects them. It's more of how we're going to be using them. And the problem that what we have wrong with it is that they are not numbered, neither do they have tags to tell us which path is what should be taken by first. So what we're going to do to fix that is we're just going to go ahead and insert some tags. So we're just going to go ahead and insert a number value and call it tag. And we'll give this 1 because obviously that is the first path. And then we're going to go ahead and put it in here. And that seems to be, let's see, so that's 3, so that must be the 5th path. Because this is 4 and then that's 5. So we should go ahead and make that the 5th pass. Let's see where that is at. So that is obviously the last pass. So if that was the 5th, that must be the 7th. Let's go ahead and put that there. That's obviously the 3rd. Put that there. That's obviously the 2nd as well. And that is the 4th. And the last one, of course, is the 6th. Whoops, not 5th. There we go. So these are all our paths with their tags. Now what we're going to do with them later is we're going to lerp our enemy, and that actually kind of sounds a bit weird, but we're going to lerp the enemy through, or lerp, okay, you know, I don't even think there's any better way to put it, but we're going to tween our enemy's C-frame to each one of these at a certain coordinate. So that is basically our basic hierarchy setup there. So we're going to go ahead and start out with the enemy, of course. So we're going to go ahead and copy the start path. And now we're going to go ahead and let's just name this regular. This is going to be our regular enemy. Now, it's not going to be that big, though. Let's go ahead and choose like a... No, that's persimmon, which is the end path color. Let's maybe choose... Let's choose a purple. Let's choose lilac. Or lilac. I don't really know how to pronounce it. Anyway, so we're going to make the size 111. And it's going to be about this size. So, yeah, it's above this, and we don't want that. So all we're going to do is we're going to set it back to what we had before, which I believe is 3.4. If we go back to the start path, yep, 3.4, that's brilliant. So that is where our regular enemy is going to start. Now we're going to go ahead and go into replicated storage and start the hierarchy in there. We're going to go ahead and create assets, if I can type, and then we're going to also put a modules, copy modules, and we're just going to drag that in there, and we're going to name this types. And then we're going to drag that in there, and we're going to name this enemies. We're going to go ahead and drag the regular enemy into enemies, and that should be good to go. So now we have that. We can go ahead and get started with the actual programming. So for this, we must start off with our hierarchy for the server scripts service. So we're going to go ahead and start with the hierarchy. So we're going to go ahead and name the scripts, and then we're going to name this modules. And no, not all the modules are being kept in the same place. Now, let's go ahead and also insert another one, which this will be called classes. I keep usually pressing in the wrong thing sometimes. So now we're going to go ahead and name this enemy. And we're just going to go ahead and call this enemy AI. Perfect. All right. So we're going to get into a word that most people do not know, and is, well, most people who are not programmers who are good at doing this kind of thing. This is called object-oriented programming, where you basically self-center your code around a certain objective. So we're going to be naming variables after our after what we want it to be towards. So we're going to name this self because this is the module itself, and it's going to return itself to someone else. So basically it's going to it just makes more logic, and more it's just logic by itself that I keep using the word self, that the module would return itself to another script. So that's why I usually use this or self. Anyways, so we're going to continue here, and we're going to start on the enemy AI. Now, AI standing for artificial intelligence, you would think it would think on its own. Most likely it's not going to. It might, but right now we're just going to continue with more of the basic stuff, which is the tweening of C-frames. So we're going to go ahead and do function self start. Let's see, we'll just do start enemy, and we're going to go ahead and have a source and the enemy we want to spawn in. Perfect. So this is basically, the source is going to be an array of our nodes. So we're going to go ahead and make a comment here, and this is going to be source is an array of our nodes that have been collected by central script. Now, an array is also known as a table. In Lua, we call them tables. In other languages, we call them arrays, kind of like JavaScript. So I usually like to call them arrays because arrays and tables are kind of the same thing. Just in both languages, they can be used differently. So, the nodes are our paths, as stated earlier, and the central script will be the script that summons or starts or requires our module script, which is our enemy AI, and we'll call off this function, returning a source, which will be gathering all the paths that we have in our course. So to continue this, and I don't know how I could make it any more confusing, hopefully it's not confusing to all of you, we're going to go ahead and start with a for loop. Now, if you don't know what a for loop is, basically it takes in 3 variables. So I is a variable which will be equal to the number that the for loop starts at. the middle one, or the middle variable, will be the number that it stops at, or that it's supposed to reach to, and the third variable is how the increment it goes by. So it can go -1, or it can go to or it can be a positive or a negative, and the middle one can be negative or positive. It will end there, possibly, depends. So anyways, we're going to continue here. So we're going to create a local SCF. Almost said CSF. So this, actually, before we do this, I just realized that we have the enemy that we want to spawn, but we never create them. So we're going to really quick do that. So let's just do local obj, which is object. We're just going to go ahead and do game.replicate storage.assets.enemies, and then square brackets, and then enemy. And this is we're gonna clone him. And let's just do right here, obj object. It's always good to kind of define what your variables mean. So we're gonna go ahead and set the C frame equal to the source's starting point. And this is going to be .cframe. Perfect. All right, so that is our starting point. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to actually first set the parent of this. So we're just going to set this to workspace for now. All right, perfect. So we have our basic script here. Now we're going to go ahead and continue, and we're going to go ahead and start with the local start C-frame, which is going to be equal to object.cframe. Next, now we're going to do our next for loop. As you remember, starting point, and then it also then where it's going to stop at, and then we're going to go ahead and just do 0.01. So basically what we have here, it's going to start at 0, it's going to end at 1, and it's going to increment up or advance our integer by 0.01. Then we're just going to go ahead and do a very basic part of this. So SCF lerp, or tween, should be called tween, but lerping is also a good word to use. So we're going to use the source.I, which is going to be will be defined later. Now here is where it comes into the part. So we're going to take our paths C-frame, right? That's what the I is going to stand for, the number, the path number, and it's going to search for that in the array. It's going to get the C-frame, and then we're going to add a vector 3, which is kind of three-dimensional placement. Or not placement, but it can be used for size and position. And for this, when we are creating a new vector 3 value for it, we're going to add on to it. And so, sorry about that, everybody. So we took a bit of pause there. So we're going to go ahead and continue with what we have right now. So we ended off with the vector3.new. So what I was saying. So let's look at the position of our regular enemy. The Y position is 3.4. If we look at that, that's 0.5. So what we're going to do to solve this is we're going to go ahead and do this. And so we're going to do 0 for the X because we don't need any offset for that, but we do need an offset for the Y. So what's going to happen is we're going to do obj.position.y minus source I dot position dot y. Now what we're doing here is we're getting our position, y position for our regular enemy, and we're getting the y position of the node. Now what this is going to give us is 2.9, which is 3.4 minus 0.5, and that's going to give you 2.9. So when that happens, that will give us our the distance to get us back to 3.4. because remember, it's going to be set, the main C frame is set to our node position of Y, and since it is set to that node position of Y, it would be going around the bottom or the top of the node. So what we need to do is we need to find out the way to get us back to its original position, and so forth. To solve this, hence the vector3.new, we're going to add an offset. And this is quite the easy way of, instead of setting a base of 2.9, this will be set to basically anything it is equal to. So that looks about brilliant. So now we're just going to add in the weight 0.01. Now that's set. What's going to happen here now? Well, it's going to spawn in and it's going to start here. Now our problem is, though, that we don't have an exact way to get stats for each one of our enemies. So that's why we created the types part in the modules. We're going to go ahead and create that, and we're going to do module script, and we're just going to do enemy stats. That sounds alright. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do exactly what we did this last time. But instead, we're going to go ahead and add in this table, regular is equal to curly brackets, or an array, and speed, and we're going to set some base variables. So this is going to be the speed that it goes at. The health is going to be equal to 10, and the strength equal to 1. Now, the scene's pretty good, but how are we going to use this, you may ask? Well, that's pretty simple. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to add in a new variable, and this is going to be called local stats, which we're going to require, is a an built-in function which can get info returned by pretty much a module script. And so with this return, will every time will return the whatever it should be returning. So in this example, an array with a sub-array. And so with here, we're going to require that, and that's going to return with self. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do game.replicatestorage.modules.types.enemy stats. Now that seems pretty brilliant. Now all we have to do is we're going to have to do stats is equal to stats and then enemy name. Now how this works. Actually, no, not dot name, because I just remember we're not doing this from an object. The object's down here. We're just summoning the enemy. So, how this is going to work is, so what it's doing is we're going to when we require this, it's going to return a table which is going to hold our enemy stats. Now we're going to make it so the stats is equal to that subarray, which is regular. So we're going to look for that enemy name, which is going to be regular in this case. And now we're going to be returned with that subarray, and then that variable is going to be equal to an array. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to get the speed. So how we do this is we're going to go ahead for the amount it goes up by. We're going to do stats.speed times 0.002. And the reason why we're doing 0.002 is because when we have a base speed of like 5 and we do 0.002, whoops, I forgot. Gotta print that. When we print that, that's going to get us 0.01, which was our base variable. Now, if we up this, that's 10. 50 is 0.1. So that's how fast the integer goes up in which it increases by. So that does work pretty well for what we're going to do. Now, that is it, I believe. So there's not much more to say for the script. We're just going to do this. returns with what the module script originally returned. Alright, perfect. Can't type at the moment. Anyways, so that is our script for the basic AI. Now we're just going to move on to the server script service and insert into our scripts folder. And we're going to name this testing, because, you know, it is a testing thing. So we're going to go ahead and require that enemy AI. Whoa, I can't type there. Alright, now we're just going to go ahead and game.serverScript.stores.modules.classes .enemy.enemy.AI. Perfect. Now we're just going to create a source, and we're going to go ahead and gather all our paths by making a for pairs loop, which I will explain after we input our destination of choice, and we're going to get the children of that. So, if you have not watched any of my other tutorials, go ahead. I do recommend. Some of these tutorials will be linked on screen at the end, of course, as the outro comes in. So, basically what we're doing here is this is going to be the number. I always put this as an underscore because I usually never use it. And n will be the object. Now, when we go in pairs, basically anything in here, so we're going to get a children, which will return with an array, and that array will be searched through with this, and n will be that object in the array. So what it means in pairs is that, so when we're going through the array, it's going to do it in pairs. So it's going to go through each one. So it's pretty simple to understand, but it can also sometimes be hard to voiceover. So we're going to go ahead and start with source, and we're going to go ahead and do n.tag.value, because this is our object, and we're going to make that equal to n. And then what we're going to go ahead and do, and you know what, that's actually fine. So that looks pretty good. So now we're just going to go ahead and add in our last part. So source, and then let's go back to the enemy AI, because I forgot what it was. So that's starting point is equal to workspace.course.other.start path. There we go. Perfect. So basically, what we're doing here is now we're going to call off this function, which shouldn't be hard. So we're just going to do enemy AI start enemy. We're going to go ahead and return that source, and we're also going, actually, we're not going to, because we don't have the enemy in workspace yet, so we're just going to return our type of enemy. Let's go ahead and, because some of you might be asking, well, in the source, there's no, because it's just an empty array or table. There's no object.tag.value in there. There's no 1, 2, or 3s in there. What I'm doing here is that when you're doing square brackets and then anything inside, if it's a string value, if it's a value returned by a any kind of object value, and not like the actual object value, any object that has a value to it. Basically, what this is saying is, okay, find me this, and if it does not exist, create it and set it to whatever the equal is set to, which is n. So that's basically what we're doing here as well, but we're doing it as a string value, not a number. Anyways, so that should be it. So let's go ahead and see if that works. Let's just really quick proofread this. I think that's pretty good. Alright, let's go ahead and run this. Alright, here we go. Attempt to index field. Alright, so here we go. That's our first error. So source starting point dot c frame. So there you go. I did start in. See, I didn't proofread everything else. Here we go. So if this did work, hopefully it should have. Doesn't seem like it did. So there's something wrong here. Oh, Where's regular located? Okay, it's here. At the start path where it should have been. Now, let's just go ahead and print out hashtag source. Because right after that, there might be a problem. Alright, hey everybody. So, I just realized what I did wrong. And we did forget a problem here. Which is, we forgot to add NJ. Because how lerp works is that first, we start off with the C frame it's supposed to end at, the ending C frame, and then the integer it goes up by, or goes by. So if we press run now, we should see it that it goes ahead and starts moving. So that was our problem the whole time. I honestly don't know how I didn't see that before. That was my own fault. So basically that works. So if we go ahead and do this, so that took what? 7. So that goes every 1. So if we do 1 times 0. Or divided by 0.01, that's 100 of those. And if we do 7 divided by, because that's 700. So I guess really we just wait 7 seconds. So if we just go ahead and do this, we're just going to do a while wait. We're going to do every 7 seconds. While wait do. And we're going to do 7 seconds, so. And that should work. Hopefully. Alright, there it is. So if another one pops up, we definitely know that it took longer than 7 seconds. Doesn't seem like it. It also seems like it took faster than 7 seconds. Yep, way faster. So what I'm going to say is it's going to take about... Let's just make the maximum 3 seconds. And that should work. So, let's see. 1, 1000. 2, 1000. 3, 1000. 4, 1000. Oh, whoops. I completely forgot. The reason why it's not doing that is because we need to put in a spawn function. And basically what spawn functions are, they just basically set functions on anything in it on another priority level. So basically it will just ignore everything that we have there. So it'll just keep going on and on. So there we go. That's our spawning system right there just for now. This is just kind of for the start. So yeah, that looks like it. That looks like that's what it's going to end it with. Looks pretty good. All right. So that is our spawning system right there. That looks pretty good. So anyways, that is about it. So we have our regular enemies going in, and the next time we are going to get on with actually working on the placements and the killing of these enemies and possibly displays. So anyways, that is it. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys liked today's video. I know it might have been a bit long for what we did today, but I do believe it was a pretty good video. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and if you guys did enjoy the video, then please leave a like. And if it did help you, leave a like, of course, and comment down if you have any troubles. I'll try to respond to you. Sometimes I don't really respond, and I know you guys have not been responded to when you have issues. But I'm going to let you guys on a little secret. When you guys post the whole script in the comment section, it really makes it messy. So if you guys will, please take a screenshot, upload it to any media, and then post it, and then I'll look at it there, because post it to Pastebin and give it to me, because that is way better than showing it in the comments. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.